Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and we're off to Taiwan and South Korea. I say Taiwan, we hope it's Taiwan because it's not stopped raining for 5 days. We've had no game since Sunday, and now we've got a full card where the Monkeys and the Brothers, we've got the Guardians, we've got the Lions, and they're all going to play each other. But working out a 70% win rate, 70% yesterday, 70% the day before. Let's see if we can go 70% or better tomorrow. Jason Radowitz is my baseball man. Jason, how are you, mate? And congratulations on another great day yesterday.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. 2 straight days going 70%. A lot of crazy finishes. The 9th inning, of course, in these games. So let's keep on moving forward and try to keep our hairs.
Yeah, listen, if you was an over-better in that Dinos Bears game, then you're throwing your ticket away. 11 runs in the 9th, and it just goes to show what crazy things can happen.
Yeah, the Deuce and Bears are the worst bullpen in the KBO. So kind of knew that was going to happen. Just kind of happened at the last second, and Dino Better got lucky there.
So I know you go with your stats, you go with your pitching matchups, but let's just take it a step further and look at the bullpens. How important is the bullpen, and how much can that change a game?
Yeah, the bullpens are big because at the end of the day, they're pitchers that were supposed to be starters but couldn't be started there because they weren't good enough. So you're putting in guys in the bullpen. Either they have really good stuff or they're not good enough and they're just inning eaters. So when we have pitchers pitching that are the back end of the rotations and their starting rotations, that becomes chaotic. When they only go 5 innings, you have to put in the bullpen for 5 innings. And we've seen that kind of early on, that bullpens haven't been doing too well lately in the KBO.
So do you have specialist pitchers who maybe they've only got an arm for maybe the last 2 or 3? Can you bring them in late to go, right, they're going to start tiring now, let's get him out there while he's fresh? Or is it just a straight, they're not as good as the starter, put them in a bullpen?
Yeah, it really depends on how scouting goes and basically what each team decides to do. But at the end of the day, these are pitchers that obviously strive to be starters, and they couldn't make it, and that's why they're in the bullpen. Outside of maybe the setup man and the closer, those are the only 2 pitchers that have really good stuff, but they just have too good of a stuff, and they can't go 5 innings, so they're only pitching 1 to 2 innings. But other than that, the bullpens are just starters that were rejects at the end of the day.
Okay, well, if you're new and you're watching, then please subscribe, press the button, and we will make sure that you never miss any content. Also, give us a little thumbs up, and then we know that you're appreciating the video. Now, also, just press that link in the description, because although Jason's on here giving his selections, he's also wrote an article for you. Go over there, and he may give you a little bit more in-depth, put a little bit more meat on the bone. And remember, it's not just Jason that's writing on our More Sports page. There's plenty other writers, plenty other sports, so you could be there for a good while, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Right, we're gonna fingers crossed now, Jay. We're gonna go to Taiwan. We know it's not stopped raining, the heavens have opened, but we've got a full card. I'm over egging the pudding here because a full card is just the 4 teams.
Yeah, so we have the Fubon Guardians playing the Brothers, and we have the Monkeys playing the Uni Lions, and these are 2 matchups that are pretty intriguing if we can even get some games in. It's been so long, and they're kind of losing out on their opportunity with people in America watching their games. This is their big opportunity to get fans, and here they are having rain delays and rainouts for the entire week. But in reality, we have some really good pitchers in these matchups, and it should be a really exciting time.
So do you have any plays in the first game with the Guardians and the Brothers?
Yeah, so we got the Guardians at plus 100. So they are slight underdogs in this matchup. And they're pitching Henry Sosa, who's arguably one of the best pitchers in the KBO. He struggled in his most recent start against the Monkeys, where he allowed it was 5 runs, but he struck out 10 batters in that game against the Monkeys. So right now he's got a 1-2 win-loss record and 6.83 ERA. So it hasn't been good for him, and he came off an injury. But if you look at his stats from last season, he's one of the best pitchers in that league, and he should be able to turn it around against a Brothers team that's not nearly as good as the Monkeys in terms of hitting.
I'm glad you said that, because that was my next question, is going to be the depth of the brothers batting against the Monkeys. We all know that the Monkeys are the best, they're the reigning champions, but now we're going to go and we're going to get great value. That's the first bet of the day, plus 100. What about the under and over? Even if it's not something you're going to play, but where's the market at and where's your lean?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the under 13.5, just because, number one, I said how great Sosa's been previously, and if he can go 6-7 innings, you don't have to really worry about the bullpen too much. And then we talked about the same pitcher who's also pitching in this matchup. We talked about him yesterday, EC Hong, who he's been kind of like just average as a pitcher. He's allowed 3 to 4 runs per start, and he's already faced the Guardians a couple of times, and he hasn't done too bad. So, if both of these pitchers can go 6-7 innings of work, you don't have to rely on the bullpen too much. I think that game could go under, and I think bettors will be happy taking the under after this is over.
Yeah, so if you're going to go with the Guardians at plus 100, we're going to get the under 13.5, but then we've got to just hope that the Guardians hit 7 runs. Now let's go in the next game, which is the Monkeys versus the Lions. Monkeys sitting top of the league. I think they probably are going to be champions elect, even though there's a billion games to go. Have you found any value? Is it like a little minus 1.5, this one, Jay?
Yeah, this one's so tough because right now we have Logan Darnell, who's trying to make his 3rd consecutive start, but each rain out has stopped his debut in the CPBL for the Uni Lions. But Yi Cheng Wang, who's starting for the Monkeys, he's 4-0. He's won every game that he's pitched so far, and he's got a 3.12 ERA, which is really good. However, if you look at his FIP that we always talk about, how that kind of shows how the defense does and how he does without the defense, it's actually a lot greater. His FIP is a lot greater than his ERA, which will probably mean that he'll allow a couple more runs than 3.12 in this game. However, with Darnell, he's been preparing for a start for the last 3 days. Now he's got 2 different teams that he's preparing for in the rain. I just don't know how he's going to fare against this Monkeys offense. So for me, I'm going with the Monkeys minus 1.5. The juice is still really heavy, though. It's around minus 180. So it's still a heavy juice. But we just don't know what we're going to get with Logan Darnell right now. And, he's been preparing for 3 straight days. So who knows at this point how he'll do.
So just to confirm, is that minus 1.5 at minus 175?
Exactly.
Wow.
It's a lot of juice.
It is.
Yeah.
Minus 175. But again, a winner's a winner. What about the run total? Where are they setting that mark?
Yeah, so it's at 14.5. I'm taking the over for that one. It's a lean right now. However, the Monkeys' bats obviously have been tremendous all season long. And with Darnell, like I said, he's preparing for so many different things. Who knows if he's even ready at this point? You don't even know if he can go more than 5 innings. So you're looking at the Uni Lions bullpen that's been horrible all season long. And the Monkeys have been horrible too on their bullpen. So going with the over 14.5, hoping that the Monkeys can hit in the rain.
Jay, without putting a gun to your head, you've said minus 1.5, we expect the Monkeys to win. But when you've got minus 1.5, which is minus 175, then is there not value in going maybe minus 2.5, or is that pushing it?
It's, with run lines, it's pushing it in baseball. As you can see, we've had so many different games where it's been 1 run here, 1 run there. And when the bullpens come into these games, you don't even know what's going to happen. So it's better just to play safe than sorry. I'd much rather take the money line if I could on the Monkeys, but it's minus 450, and there's no way I'm putting any money on minus 450. It's not even worth it at that point. At that point, you're just looking at potentially taking the Uni Lions for value.
Yeah, and also, as we said in yesterday's show, that if you actually take the underdog, I mean, if you've got a minus 450 favourite, then the dog's going to be a great price. And maybe at some stage you can come back and bet the other team, and obviously you're going to make sure that you're going to pick up money. Okay, let's go to the proper meat on the bone. We're going to go to South Korea, and we're going to start with the Eagles and the Dinos, and this is the start of a 3-game series, Jay.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one in the first matchup. We have 2 pretty good pitchers going with Hanwha's going with Warwick Stupold, who's got a 1-1, 1.64 ERA. So he's been tremendous in the first 3 games that he's pitched. In his second season, he had an ERA of 3.51 last year. He's not a big strikeout thrower, though, and there's a bit of concern that he had bad control at some point last season. And then on the other side, we have the Dinos, who have Kim Young Gayu. He's started 11 innings so far. He's allowed 3 home runs and 12 hits in those games. And he's getting tagged with the home run ball, which is pretty apparent and pretty concerning if you're the NC Dinos. But at the end of the day, both these pitchers have a good track record from last season, and they should be able to put on a good performance tomorrow morning. So I'm going to go with the under 9 as a lean. And then also I'm going with the NC Dinos minus 140.
Minus 140. And just obviously we can't mention the NC Dinos or Dinos without mentioning Minwoo Park. Gets his run, gets his hits. He's back on it. I think he's only missed maybe 2 of 14 games so far this year where he hasn't hit runs. So 12 in 14, he is going to be setting records this year. Let's move on then. The Tigers and the Wyverns. Wyverns, they had a win 2 days ago. Then they get beat 9-8. 2-12. That's a bad total.
Yeah, so far, SK's been hitting the ball a little bit better lately, but they're running into a problem with Kia. Kia is one of the best pitching teams in the KBO. Currently, they have a 3.99 FIP, which is the best in the KBO, and they're also hitting the ball pretty well, right now. So right now, I'm going with Kia as an official play at minus 160, and I'm leaning on the over 9.5. Just because right now we have Kim Joo Han. He's Nick Kingham's replacement on SK. And Kingham's injured, so this is the relief guy that's coming in as a replacement, and he was awful in his first 3 appearances in the league. He's only pitched 1 inning in 3 appearances, and he's allowed a ton of runs. So I don't trust him one bit. So I'm going with the over, and I'm going to expect Kia to win with Hyeon Jung on the mound, who's pitched pretty well the last 2 starts.
Yeah, we like that because the Wyverns, they find a way to get beat. And obviously this morning, or very early this morning, they put up 8. They put up 8 and get beat 9-8. So listen, if we want over 9.5, then we think they're going to get beat. So we just want them to get 4, 5 run contribution, and you're going to pick up both ways. What about the Heroes and the Giants, Jay?
So we got. So the Giants are pathetic right now. They've lost a ton of games. They've only scored 17 runs in the last 7 games on the season. So they've been really bad. Their offense has been just terrible. Their pitching hasn't been great either. So we're going with Kiwoom as an official play, minus 150. We're also leaning on the under, 9.5. The Giants, they're not hitting the ball whatsoever. And we got Jake Brigham on the mound for Kiwoom, who's been struggling a little bit, but he has a track record of success previous years, and he should be able to turn around against struggling Latte Giants.
Giants so we're going to go under 9.5. The thing is with the Giants, can they contribute? Are we looking maybe just something just a little bit above 7-3?
Yeah, they just 17 runs in the last 7 games. It's not doing it, and then they're also going to have to face an import pitcher that has a good track record in the KBO. So, maybe they can score a couple of runs. Maybe they, I don't know at this point. They look terrible. And if you look at different ratings, they're the worst team in the KBO now. Worse than SK. SK is projected to do better than Latte at this point. So Latte started off well, but they're trending downward, and they could end up like what SK is now and start losing 10 straight games.
Let's move on to the Bears and the Lions. I mean, on paper, a blind man can say the Bears win this, but the Lions are coming off a couple of decent performances.
Yeah, look, this is the hardest game of the slate, I would say, because right now we have Ben Lively of Samsung. He's pitching this game, but he had a right hand injury in his previous start. He only pitched 1 inning. He got up 3 runs, and then he left the game with an injury. He had to go to the hospital for his right hand. So we thought he was going to be done for at least a start or 2. But here he is starting tomorrow morning, ready to play. We don't really know what to expect out of Lively, but we do know that he wasn't terrible last year. And his first 2 starts this year weren't horrible either. They weren't great. He's got to pitch better. He's 0-3 to start the season in his first 3 games. But he's a lot better pitcher than this is kind of showing. And so what can we expect out of Lively? That's the biggest thing right here. And Doosan, they have a relief pitcher, Lee Young Chan, who's taken the start for Doosan. And he's been horrible too. He had the 0-1 record with a 12.60 ERA. So he's allowed 14 earned runs in 10 innings pitched, and he's also allowed 3 home runs on the year. So this is really challenging because I love Doosan's hitting, and I think that they can do really well against Samsung and Lively because we don't know what to expect out of Lively. But this is also a play where you could look at the underdog if you believe in Lively and you think he's healthy. Then you could think about taking Samsung as underdog. And for that reason, I'm taking the over 10.5. I don't trust either pitcher in this matchup, but if I'm going to trust a pitcher, it would be Lively. I don't though, so we're going with the over.
Do you fancy the over more than the money line? You obviously, is there any value in the Bears?
Yeah, I would lean on the Bears for this one because again, I don't know about Lively, but I do believe this game will go over just with both pitchers have been really bad to start the season. Especially Doosan's, the starting pitcher, he's been even worse. So with that said, I'm taking the over as an official play.
Yeah, someone's going to get absolutely hammered by the Bears because they do love to have the bases loaded and not bring any runs home. Okay, in the final game, we've got the Wiz and the Twins and KT. They've made us a few quid.
Yeah, I mean, you saved the last game as the best game because
thank you.
Now we've got two pitchers, import pitchers that have been tremendous throughout their careers in the KBO and this season, like Despaigne and Casey Kelly. So Despaigne, he's pitched in 3 games to start his career in the KBO, and he has an FIP of 1.91. He's striking out 9.5 batters in 9 innings, and he's only walking 1.1 per 9 innings. He's been tremendous this season. And then Casey Kelly, he started off really poor against the NC Dinos in the first game, but he came back with a really good showing in his second start, and he's looking tremendous as well. So this game is going to be lots of fun if you like pitching. I'm leaning more towards LG just because they're the better team in terms of pitching, and LG is also 6-3 at home this season. And I'm going with the under just because we have 2 tremendous pitchers on the mound.
And what's the number on the under?
It's under 9.
Wow. And is that just like a minus 110?
It's minus 115.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to Taiwan. So put your brolly up and tell me, and give me a rundown, a recap, and at the very end, banker, please, sir.
Of course. So we're going to go with the Guardians at plus 100 against the Brothers. We're taking the under 13.5. And then we're taking the Monkeys minus 1.5 against the Uni Lions. And then we're going to take the over 14.5. Then we got the Kia Tigers at minus 160 over the Wyverns. And we're going to take the over 9.5. We have Kiwoom minus 150 over Latte. We're going to take the under 9.5. Then we're going to take the Doosan Bears minus 140. And then Samsung against Samsung. And then we'll take the over 10.5. Then we're going to take the Dinos minus 140 over the Eagles under 9. And then we're going to take the LG Twins minus 115 over KT in the under 9. And if I had to make a banker play,
yeah, you do. You do.
I don't love to, but I think we're going to go with the under 9 in the LG KT game. These pitchers have been tremendous, and we've seen in previous games when we have 2 import pitchers against each other, it always turns into the under. Like the Flexen game, like the Gagnon game, these games are under material. And so you can expect another under game in that one.
Top man, Jay. Before I say goodbye, though, just make sure that everyone likes this video. They subscribe, they press the button, and we'll notify you, and you will never miss any content. And also, Jay's not just a pretty face on camera. He's also been writing for us as well. So he has an article. Press the link in the description and go over to our More Sports page, and there'll be plenty writers there. There'll be plenty articles, and they will be plenty different sports. You'll absolutely love it. Remember, we're on 3 p.m. Eastern Time again tomorrow being Friday. And then next week, it'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're not letting this gem go, but I am at the moment. I'll see you later, Jay.
Yeah.